Hello people, this video will first be going up on Patreon. You guys are going to get the scoop on this one. Maybe later down the track I'll put it up on YouTube. But yeah, definitely want to get that content out to you guys first as a little reward for your dedication and for the support. So I just completed the video on the Reverend Horton Heat's Psychobilly Freakout over the last few days, and what I thought I'd do is, while I've got it all set up, I'm gonna have a look at that guitar tone. So the first thing I want to point out is you don't have to run out and buy this pedal or this pedal, okay? And I'm gonna swap out both of these pedals, okay, for something different in a moment, okay, and show you how the pedals that we use, you don't have to have the best of everything. You can really make it happen just by understanding what the sound's about. So I'm going through my Supro, which is just a 6L6 kind of valve amp with it's got no ability to adjust any frequency range or anything like that. So I'll put this on. Sorry, it's a little bit loud. Okay, that's not a great tone, I'll admit. That's not what I wanted quite. Hang on, what I'll do. Let's just put this on. So we've got... Alright. Too much gain's going on here, so I'm going to pull the gain right out. Give this a little more volume. A little bit more gain. I want it to be a bit of a richer tone. A little bit more. Alright, so what I'm specifically talking about is just getting to the edge of breakup. So that can be achieved with pretty much any overdrive pedal by, particularly if you've got a gain and a level, higher level, lower gain. How you set your frequencies. I've actually got the treble up really high and I've pulled the bass right out because it's actually very boomy, this pedal. This pedal is probably aimed at more heavier drive stuff. I'm going to swap this out in a second and explain that. But again, I'm trying to illustrate the point that there's some basics. So what I'm talking about there, find that sweet spot of where the gain and the level, because levels, imagine levels like your clear sound, and gain is like where it starts to break the amp up. Gain is kind of like the overloading signal. So we find that sweet spot. Okay. I'd give it a little more, maybe. Okay, and keep in mind, these Dynasonics are a bit kind of crunchy at times as well when you start to push them a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of getting in that territory where we've got a little bit of that kind of, I almost think it was like a glowing kind of drive, but not too much, because as we go more, it kind of breaks up a bit hard and is not necessarily the sound we want. Now, talking about the delay, it's actually a fairly tight delay. Hear that? That's a pretty quick. If I bring the mix up, and you can hear the slap of the guitar, and then the actual mix, the signal there coming from the delay pedal, you can hear it's like, so it's a very tight sound. It just gives that slight thickness to the tone that I'm hearing on that recording, okay? So that's achieved, really it depends on your pedal, by the time. We don't want it to, we don't want it over mixed where you start to lose the drive signal. You want it fairly balanced. And it's almost like a double tracking effect. So most delay pedals will have a time, in fact nearly all will have a time and a mix, okay? So these are the things that I'm talking about here that are probably the most important to getting that kind of, the tone that you want, your gain and your level for the amount of drive, and finding that sweet spot that you like, and the time and the mix. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm going to swap this real quick. It's probably a better way to do this. I'll put the amp on standby, unplug this one, unplug this one. Okay, bear with me, 1, 2, take that out. Oh, by the way, this actually has a spring reverb built into it, which I had tuned to about here. So having some kind of reverb will help with that tone. So imagine that this is 0 reverb with the bypass button in, holding these two. I had that up about here. So that's separate to the time of the delay. That's actually the spring reverb. So I had some spring reverb mixed in there as well, which you could get a cheap spring reverb pedal, mix it in, and it will do wonders. I don't actually have mine with me at the moment, unfortunately, so I can't really demonstrate that separately, but what I can do is show you the other features. So output, input, I think we're good to go. And this one here. All right, so hopefully that you're familiar with this pedal. And we're going to swap this out for... I got a great little email from a guy named Albert who was informing me, he's a good mate, we talk via email quite regularly, and he informed me that it was a bit, that bottom end was a bit flubby basically, which, believe it or not, I am actually hearing it at this end. Might be coming out a bit worse through TVs and stuff, but I kind of just persevered with that tone at the time. I wasn't 100% wrapped with it, but you can see that gain actually, I probably could have worked that out a little better for the recording. So anyway, but this is all good because it's kind of a good lesson for everyone here. You know, you can learn from my mistakes. So now we've got a drive here and we've got a volume. So that's going to be the similar thing as the level and the gain. It's the same thing. And now we're gonna play with this and try and get the similar sound. Okay, I've done something wrong here because no. Amp was on standby. So this is an Electro Harmonix East River drive. It's a fairly, straightforward tube screamer type pedal. All the tube screamer is just think about a valve amp that's being pushed really hard without actually pushing your valve amp really hard and blowing your windows up. It's almost like you're doing it in the signal here and creating that tone, sending it to the amp. So this is clean. Put that on. Can't actually play that riff today. I'm not sure why. Okay. All right. So that's not particularly lively. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the tone up on this. So think of this as just, putting your highs up a little bit and tightening the bottom end. But it's probably not really the point. Let's bring the volume up a little. Okay, so that's sort of getting in the ballpark that I want. That a little bit of growl, just a little bit. The tone bring up will give us a little bit more of that presence. A lot of that comes from a spring reverb pedal as well, which I'd put on the end of the signal because it's pretty much where it is in the El Capistan circuit. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm just making it up. But if I was doing it, I'd be going drive, echo, and then chucking a reverb at the end. And you might do it different and get a different effect. It's really up to you. So let's put that slap back on. Okay. So what I might do, I'm going to tighten that up a teensy bit. This pedal actually gets faster as you turn it to the right, but it is the same function as time. You can watch my whole tutorial on this pedal. Okay, intensity. It controls how long that goes for. We'll give it a little bit. I feel like that'll compensate for the lack of reverb right now. And then this is the volume of the echo, so this is more like your mix. That's making the echo really loud, and this is very much like your mix, except with this one it mixes it in to match your dry signal, whereas on the other pedal it actually, as you go past a certain point, it starts to mix out your dry signal. This doesn't really do that. But again, the main point is the nice tight slap back, okay, getting the intensity. I didn't really discuss that too much with the other one, how much it repeats. I'd keep it pretty short. But yeah, this is kind of like your mix and your repeat rate, like what was on the El Capistan. So finding that to the sweet spot. still want a bit more gain and a little bit more push out of this. Actually, it's feeling a little bit weak compared to what was going through that. So I'm going to bring that drive up. Okay. So there you go. There's just that. Now I'm pretty happy with where that's at, and it just sort of shows you don't have to have, you know, really expensive, overly detailed, but not overly. It's not overly detailed. It does different things. It's got a few more options, but it's really about getting your drive settings and your volume settings where you want, and getting your delay settings where you like. Again, I regret that I don't have my spring reverb with me, because I would have chucked it at the end, dialed that in. It would have given it that same beautiful hiss. Let's just chuck the El Capistan back in place of the Wazacraft here. Whoops. Metal on wood. Not a great sound. Okay, so right out. Put that one in here. That here. Alright, let's have a bit of a look here. See how we go. Yeah, see, that reverb really does make a difference. But this is an expensive option to have a very fine, not a particularly tunable reverb. It's in that one control. You get to use it or you don't, kind of thing. But then again, this is also a good little advertisement for the El Capistan, because you get that reverb built in, and it actually comes in handy when you least suspect it. So at the end of the day, what I'm getting at here is, you can see that I've used two different sets of pedals and achieved a pretty close tone. Again, that spring reverb is kind of the wild card there, but you can pick up a good reverb pedal for, you know, probably $50 to $100. That's Australian, but you know, I'm sure US you probably get one cheaper. So you know, if you picked up a pedal like this and some kind of simple delay, you know, even a digital delay, you can do great things with. And then a little reverb, you'll get that sound pretty quickly. So I started with what I did, and then I've given you a few ideas on what you might want to do. So hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think, and yeah, catch you at the next video.